Well, good evening, guys. Wow. So, what's next? That's what we're going to be talking about. We got most of the crew from Advance Etowah sitting here, and love to have you hang around. As you jump on, please give us a little share, and let me know that the audio is good. But if you're watching this later, then skip on ahead to the good, juicy stuff. It'll be a fun conversation. Something we've been talking about a lot recently and for months. Obviously, the rendering plant is still number one, but sounds like we've got a long way to go. At least another 12 months before we can really put some stuff behind us. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight, guys. We're talking about the issues in the county, and I know we've got a group that's got some pretty good insight, and Mr. Fred Zachary that has been talking about the issues for a couple of years now, right?
9 years.
9 years.
Always got it down.
So, guys, if you're jumping on, like I said, give us a share. If somebody starts dropping some comments in here, let me know that the audio is good. I see Reba and David Stanley are watching.
Hello, Miss Reba.
Welcome, Reba. We'll give it a minute for everything to build. Good. All right, we're getting some good audio checks. So, guys, the big thing tonight, and really kind of the big thing that has gone on throughout this entire last year, and what we're going to need to continue doing is getting engagement from you guys and hearing from you, hearing your thoughts. That's part of what we're going to do tonight. So honestly, don't have a 100% plan on exactly how we're going to go through this, but that seems to have worked for us up to this point. Got a few folks jumping on. I guess it's a Tuesday night. I guess everybody's waiting for that baseball game, huh?
Baseball game, 7 o'clock.
Well, I know. I know we've got soccer going on. What other sports are going on right now?
Football.
Well, not tonight.
Not tonight.
Tonight and Thursday night.
Yeah.
All right.
Thursday night. Yeah. Monday night, Thursday night, Friday night.
Well, all right, guys. Y'all ready to get started? I know.
Get us rolling, man.
We've got guys that are a bit impatient. They got things to do, places to be. So, guys, the future of Advance Etowah. Honestly, what is Advance Etowah? What is it that has been going on? What are we doing? To be 100% honest, I don't think. I mean, we kind of been making it up as we go along with a general idea. Obviously, this was all born out of stopping the rendering plant, and we saw everything kind of getting organized together. And I guess I'd say whatever it is that we're doing seems to have been somewhat successful, at least at not getting a rendering plant built in the timeline that everybody thought it was going to get built on. So now we're in the phase of what is next. What are we doing? And I think that discussion continues. So we've talked a lot about where we go from here. We've had a lot of conversations. We've talked about how Advance Etowah, like we're not political. And obviously, so now we're really getting into the realm as we dive into election season and what exactly does that mean? We've had a lot of great insight on, well, the reality is that what we have been doing is political. But what we're not going to do is try to jump behind one individual politician or another. We're trying to stick to the issues and the issues that that we think matter, but most importantly, we're trying to be a place where everybody can come together and talk about the issues in the entire county.
Right.
Is that fair?
We need to be the conduit.
Sounds good.
The conduit. So obviously, as fortunately, Mr. Zachary has brought a lot of political wisdom to us, and realizing that politics is ugly and nasty. unfortunately. And I know that's going to be frustrating for a lot of us. So with that in mind, I'll go ahead and throw out there before I stop talking so much. So I have got it set up. There's a link in the description on this video, wherever you're watching it. There's a link in there that will take you to a page where you can submit the issues that you see for your community, the county as a whole, whatever you see as issues, but submit that stuff in there, and we're going to be going through. And that's ultimately, I think, at the end of the day, what we really want is to make it easy for everyone to stay engaged, to have that information, be a place to have that discussion. I've also got it set up so that we'll be feeding in all of the folks, the candidates that are running. So it'll make it easy to see who they are. We'll get bios, hopefully, from everybody, links to their, videos that they've done or things they think about. And ultimately, I think we're going to try and really go through and figure out 5 or 10 issues that we'll try and get their responses from the candidates and get that onto that webpage as well in that Advance Etowah app. That's kind of the goal, the starting place. Mm-hmm. Does that sound fair?
Yes. Right.
So I guess let's jump into, so where do we start with issues? Where do we start that discussion with issues?
I think my biggest issue, as I've said for well over a year now, has been the void and lack of leadership. That to me is a driving force of why we're still here at this point in the game. If we would have had leadership, we wouldn't be having this discussion. Just like you saw today, the lack of leadership created that show that I've not had time to watch the whole video.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch
the city council today. I mean, that's just we have to be better than that. Anybody watching that, any prospective new business or prospective family wanting to move into this community or county, you're going to watch that and say, that's a place I want to live. They have some great leadership and they got some real bright minds and they're on the right track. I don't think so. So, I'm going to continue to carry the torch and bellwether of leadership. Will fix, more of our sins and our problems than anything will.
So how do we pick? I mean, how do we identify the leadership in folks in the?
I think it's their job to identify that, Michael. I think it's their job to tell the people what they're going to do differently and what their perspective is on that leadership.
And maybe the people go back and do a little background check.
Absolutely.
Business, see where they come from, what they've done. I guess that would be the biggest thing.
Well, I've often said that if you're going to sit on the city council, you should have written checks for payroll someplace.
I think David's preached that up.
Amen to that, Fred. Amen.
Yeah, I don't. Is there one on the council now that's only written paychecks?
Probably Wilson.
Jason.
Yeah.
So Jason knows what it is to stress out about making payroll. That's tough in business. When business is tough, which Gadsden right now is in a tough situation.
Sure it is.
Their leadership is lacking. You can tell. Their mayor's office is lacking. You can tell. It's disappointing to look at that. And we got all the cities around us that are thriving now because we have new mayors, new people in place that are really going to step out and show off their cities.
Well, then, and they're making positive changes.
They are.
They're listening to their constituents. They're listening to, the community. And this is what we want to do to improve our community. And the mayors, and I think their city councils and other municipalities around us are listening to that. And it's not just here in Etowah County; it's statewide. I mean, look at Huntsville, for example. My gosh, in Madison County.
Yeah, it's growing.
I mean, it's crazy.
I think we have 4 projects going out there right now.
Right.
It's in Gadsden. I probably have 3 or 4, but those are things that we brought together, not something Gadsden has brought. And I don't know if anybody's worked with the mayor's office, but it's pretty much a train wreck to get through the office to get anything going.
Okay.
And I think there again, as Trent mentioned, we all know what our past issues are, and we've beaten that drum for a year. I want to see some bright ideas and new ideas about what we're going to do to fix it. We can all talk about, we talked about till we're almost blue in the face of all the problems we see and have. Now let's have a candidate step up, or candidates step up and tell us what he or she is going to do to fix the issues. Here's my ideas. Here's my vision. And in turn, that's somebody that I think that people can rally around, and that's what we want as our community.
Oh, and who have we got running now? I know 2 people have announced Fred.
We have Robert Avery,
Okay.
Heather New,
yes.
Dr. Jacobs,
Craig
Ford, and there's another guy, I forget his name, who drives a truck, who is
Michael Shell.
Shell, right? Yeah. So far, it seems that those are the candidates, and anyway, those are the candidates.
Well, we'll stay off that. We got months to talk through all the candidates, so I guess I've been saying all along, like we have so many basic issues that so like for the budget, for example, and just the procedures and the processes are so broken that we almost can't even get into discussing what should or should not be in that budget, right? Like today is a prime example of we're debating we're not going to fund the schools, but then literally the next week we're having an emergency, having to suspend the rules and vote right then and there. That kind of stuff to me, I don't know what has caused all that. I'm a newbie compared to all of y'all to the Gadsden area, but it sure seems there's a lot of people that vote on name recognition, vote for their buddy, vote for their cousin, whatever it is. Because most of this seems like if you had the leadership and people paying attention. So my main issue, I think, for the community is going to be that the people, the citizens, have got to stay engaged, got to pay attention. Are we going to get 100% voter turnout? Obviously not. That's ridiculous.
I think we had 10% last time.
Yeah.
Somewhere like
that.
But
if we could double that, that would be awesome and game changing in this community. That's going to be, I think that's one of those fundamental issues that, you get what you get. If you're not willing to pay attention and you're not willing to invest the time, then, there's
you have to be part of change.
Yeah.
You can't sit there and talk about it and complain about it and not be part of it. I would be shocked though with what all has gone on and transpired and what Advance Etowah, and not just Advance Etowah, what the people have brought to light over the last 12 months. I would be shocked if we didn't have very significant turnout this year in elections than we've seen in the past.
I hope so, but people tend to be excited in the moment. I just hope we can keep the moments going until after the election. So, and they have to be excited about something too. We tend to have very dry elections where the candidates never interface with each other, never talk about the issues across a table like this, never seem to recognize what the issues are, never bring to the table a new idea. It's not a new idea to put a boat out there on the river and have some people eat on it. And it's definitely cringing for me to look at a council arguing back and forth, not all of them, but having a discussion back and forth about how you're going to pay a bill to keep tutoring and what was the other thing? Tutoring and the reading program online because the bill hadn't been paid. And for one of the council people to say, well, you live over there in the rich section and my people need things too. Well, my people, whether you're in District 1 through 6 or 7, all go to the same schools. It's the same programs through the same schools. So I don't know how you make this a rich versus poor conversation. And so we have to make sure, my opinion, that we choose people who can critically think and think in advance of the fly getting in the soup. Know where you want the city to go, and how do you get it there without a plan? This city has not had a plan in over 40 years. So that's one of the things I
think that's definitely right up there. And one could argue that a good master plan would be something that stems out of good leadership. But that's definitely I think everybody in every municipality in Etowah County needs to ask that question of people that are involved in politics. Well, what's the plan to make the master plan? Right? I mean, would you ever run a business where you literally have no idea where you want to go?
You wouldn't run it long.
Right.
Exactly.
You wouldn't run it long.
And, you know, I that kind of is astounding. It's not surprising. I mean, as broken and fragmented as this, I mean, you know, we're not only 13 municipalities or whatever the number is, but then we're broken down into a whole bunch of communities inside of there, which is, you know, I mean, we're not super unique from any other community, but we could also look at other communities like Tuscaloosa, like Huntsville. And go, well, what are they doing? Because they're clearly doing something right. I don't think there's any measurement that you can look at Gadsden and say, oh yeah, we're on the right track. And
well, it takes people getting out, like visiting other cities to get ahead.
Yep.
I mean, you know, as Huntsville's growing, you know, those people were ahead 4 or 5 years ago looking for down the road what we need to do. That's why it's growing. I mean, we don't have nobody out there doing that.
Yep. I see Rainbow City is currently composing a master plan. I'm going to guess that's Mayor Taylor on there. I can't see.
I think we have
no
to meet.
shot there.
We have to meet tomorrow night. I think he's got us meeting tomorrow night about some of that. I don't know if he's reached out to David yet, but I know it's coming.
I think Southside's working on a plan as well.
They've done a big step by getting Blackstones, I guess, over there in that little building.
Okay.
So that's coming. So that's exciting.
And I've heard people talking about from the surrounding counties. I mean, the surrounding areas of basically the concept that like just waiting on Gadsden and, you know, the community here because of the resources to get on board with going in a different direction to work together, you know, as a region, which is pretty cool and encouraging, you know, to me. But then again, that's going to take leadership.
Until the city council forces the hand on the mayor's office to do something, nothing's going to happen. Right now,
like we said,
and this year.
we're, you know, the good thing is, if there is a good thing out of the situation, is we're literally only a year away from elections. So, and my point is there again, I'm too optimistically high that I truly think we have smart people in this community and hardworking people. I think they want to do better and they wanted things better.
Well, you have a lot of people driving from Gadsden to Huntsville to those better paying jobs. I know it was mentioned at a council meeting that, you know, we don't have the qualified people, but we have people leaving Gadsden every day, going to Birmingham to Huntsville, and driving back because they love this town.
And they don't really have an option local.
Right, yeah, and we don't have the options here.
And I think, you know, back to Fred's point, I think Advance Etowah, we're going to make sure the forum is there for all the candidates to have a debate and have discussions and whatever else.
Right.
Our community constituents ask the questions. Let them ask the questions directly to them. Let them answer the questions and hear their opinions and their leadership and their vision of what they're going to do. So therefore, like, because Fred's right, you know, if you don't tell them, if you don't engage in some dialogue back and forth of what plan is better, what plan you like or don't like, well, how do you know who to vote for?
Yep.
You know, you just get back in that tired situation. We want to make sure we avoid that.
Well, and you know, hopefully, I know there's plenty that are trying to push and say that social media, like, we got to stop talking about stuff on social media, which is ridiculous. It's 2021. There's going to be plenty of people that aren't going to be on social media, and we've got to make sure that we have some in-person events. And we're you know, we're definitely looking at trying to put together a few debates. We'll figure all that stuff out as more people announce and figure out timelines on doing that. You know, go 12:40 a.m. Listen to Fred talk about it. He's got a few opinions on a few things.
Mr. President, give it to you straight.
Yeah,
Don't worry about that.
You want to learn some stuff about this community, you know, and so you know, there's all sorts of ways to have those conversations, you know, and if people choose not to engage, if they're candidates, I guess me as a marketing guy would say you're pretty dumb. If you're not willing to engage with the people, and that ought to tell the people what they need. And quite honestly, you talk about vision, and I guess I'm sitting here as the younger guy in the room. In this day and age, if you don't understand the communication ability and what the internet and what all this social media stuff, how it's impacting businesses, you know, leveraging the internet, to execute business, the speed of business in all realms today. If you don't understand that, how on earth can you lead a community into the next coming decades?
Well, as you sit here, we need to get younger people involved. Just like you said, the youngest one here.
I don't
know a little bit more than us old school people that.
Well, and
social media.
There's plenty of. I just mean you need to be listening, right? You need to be willing to learn, or you need to be smart enough to get the people that do understand and listen to them. You guys don't run every facet of your business, right? You make sure you get people that know what they're doing.
Well, and I would love to get younger people involved in stuff that we're doing. I would love for that step up. That will grow our community.
Yeah. Well,
the brain drain is so severe here. I've lived several places, but I've never lived a place where nearly all of the brainy people who have the training and the skills leave.
Right.
And they don't come back except for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
And that's sad.
And when mom and dad pass away,
they have no reason to come back. Right.
There's a big void they're not filled.
Yeah, it's awful that we offer that and we don't utilize the they call it a community college now, but it was called a junior college back in the day, and that's one of the drags on the development in this place is that Gadsden particularly, we don't have a 4-year institution here. We have some extension centers. So, who's talking to Auburn about, or Alabama? I'm an Alabama graduate. So who's talking to Auburn and Alabama and some of the other places about coming in to this place? There are kids here who need to have a 4-year education without traveling out of the county. Who's talking to Alabama Power? I discovered a couple of weeks ago, Alabama Power was founded right here in Gadsden. In 1906. Mm-hmm. And we have to use those kind of things to build up a what do you call it? A brand. To build up a brand and make people interested in coming here. Housing a bunch of animals up at Nakalula Falls is not a zoo. And let's not try to make it be a zoo, burning up animals for lack of care. And I'm not knocking trying to have some wildlife for kids to see and everything, but if you're going to do it right. And you ask, what did I see or what did we see as I don't see a vision. And without a plan, you can't offer a vision.
Right.
You can't execute.
Yeah. And I read the 40-year, 45, 46-year-old plan recently, and it is still a good plan.
I'm laughing that it hadn't been updated in 40 years.
It had so much dust on it until they had it in a vault. And it was taken out of the vault, and I got it, and it still looks it was a very thorough plan. Whoever did it did a good job, but it does not incorporate the technology part of what we're going through now into it. It does not incorporate the loss of population into it and how to build. Gadsden used to be the 3rd largest city in Alabama. It was larger than Mobile. Mm-hmm. So. We got to do something different, and we just can't keep sitting in those chairs up, elevated, and talking
up, sitting on our hands.
So this is a beautiful place, and if you go other places, and if you've been other places, you can see it has all of the licks to make it go, but it's not going.
Well, so that's I guess. That's where Advance Etowah and what are we? We're something that shouldn't have to exist. The community should have a structure that works. We shouldn't have all the friends and relatives appointed to all the boards. We shouldn't have the same, whether they're friends or not. Shouldn't have the same 6 people. We shouldn't have IDAs that are not structured appropriately. We shouldn't have an airport authority that doesn't have any aviation expertise and that is also structured in a very odd way.
Or development skills.
Yeah, I mean, we just have, and I think that's the way I've been approaching this with Advance Etowah is with so many just basic broken things that it's almost not even political discussions. It's just like, no, this is the right way. We can throw Democrat and Republican aside. We can throw a lot of we can throw a lot of differing ideas aside because we just have so many simple things that are broken. That those things need to get fixed before we can ever really get to really dealing with the issues. But as you said, we got to get people that are willing to go after those problems, have the different ideas on how to fix them, how to restructure the airport authority. There's not one answer. I mean, there's multiple answers and different ways of doing that. I'd love to hear, a couple of different people have different discussions about that.
I don't disagree, Michael, but I think also we're making a lot of excuses. Not us, but we being the community. Yeah. Because we can't even get simple answers of who does someone work for? Who does someone report to? If that's your city government at work, I mean, are you kidding me?
Right.
And they talk about
that's your
transparent.
problem. I mean, and how to look at an airport work. Well, I mean, in a much smaller scale, we can go to Albertville and look at that. Yeah. Look at their facility versus ours.
They're going and blowing over in
Albertville. I mean, nothing against Albertville at all. I mean,
no,
are
they're
you
doing
kidding
good.
me? I mean,
yeah, it's very disappointing to see what we have to offer.
So that's there again, we keep talking about it. That's our problem. We've talked way too much versus action.
Yep.
There needs to be some resolutions and
I'd like
solved.
to talk about the IDA and what role they have and what have they actually done in the last 2 or 3 years other than a rendering plant. Actually, let's see. Instead of ribbon cuttings that were years ago, progress. They're going to these things.
Expansions happen.
Expansion,
almost.
yes. Yeah. You can't jump on board with these expansions that are going now and go to ribbon cutting. You need to dig deep.
Yep.
We need something good that you've done.
Well, and I think so. So the what for the rest of the community there, I think is we gotta. I mean, we've got to be engaged as citizens and ask those questions. What are your thoughts? As you're coming in as a mayor, as you're announcing for city council, as you're running for these different seats, what are your ideas and your thoughts? What's your vision, for how to do that? The industrial development, the tourism, all of that kind of stuff. It's all got to work together. It doesn't seem like we've even got an IDA and the tourism and all this kind of stuff together. That's really.
It's like the right hand don't know what the left hand's doing. Pretty much here.
And this whole transparency thing is, this cloaked in secrecy and everything else. I mean, come on. We've learned very clearly over the last year of specifically just a rendering plant. There's nothing secret about this. I mean, nobody wanted it.
Right.
We were just dumb enough to listen.
Well, and so that's kind of the I guess some people have freaked out about asking questions about different things around here, and that's going to be part of what we're going to do with Advance Etowah. Is ask questions to different government organizations that should have transparency. Seek out the information. I'd love to see what was the 40-year-old plan. I'm sure we don't have a digital copy of that thing.
I will certainly get you a copy.
But that's, it shouldn't be that hard. The minutes from various meetings. Again, some simple stuff. I learned early on, how hard it is if you are a citizen that really actually does care to go out and find some answers. It's not easy in Etowah County.
That's intentional. It's intentional deception and it's intergenerational because you get Cousin Johnny in the public safety department. Cousin Johnny brings in Cousin Bill, and Cousin Bill brings in his son, and his son brings in his son. So we're talking about intergenerational years of this stuff going on, and you make up reasons why it operates this way. That's the way it's always been.
I hate that.
I've been told that so many times, and I said, bring me the black and white. Is it an ordinance? Is it a law? Well, no, but that's the way we've always operated. You can't run a business, and the city is a business. That's the way it's always been, unless it's prosperous. If it's prosperous, let's keep it going.
But if it's prosperous, you probably could answer why that's the way it's always been.
Yes,
well, because it leads to X, Y, and Z. So that irritates me beyond belief.
Let me say this: a lack of diversity is a killer of progress, and I'm not just talking about black and white. I'm talking about diversity of women being in some of these places, of folk who have various kinds of skills and knowledge being placed. Not your cousin who does not know. You brought him in from the pig farm, and he's going to come in and run the development arm of the city, of the village. You can't do that. Give the cousin a job that he can do. But we
need pig farmers. Nothing against pig farmers. We're gonna start.
Like
we're gonna start catching flack. We've been after the chicken guys forever.
I love ham, but this is the problem. We have people. And I can't say it any more diplomatic, who are pretending that they know what they're doing. We have a guy who holds 2 jobs as a city manager and something else, and oversees community development, block grant stuff. I mean, how do you know all of that and you don't have any training? How do you know it? I mean, there's some very smart people in the world who are innately smart. I don't see any at City Hall. And
Fair enough.
That's no
Fair
disrespect to everybody at City Hall. But you got a mayor's staff who is 26 managers, not one colored, I'm going to say that, manager in that group. People who have been all around the world, who have come back here, who have managerial skills, who've done real jobs. They can't find a place on those. People being sent to do... what do you call the guys that send out the buses and things? Anyway, and left the city for several years, and then they're back over personnel. How you be in personnel or over human resources like that? You're just saying that we don't want progress. We just want these folks to have a job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we can all agree that we need qualified folks doing the jobs that we need done. I mean,
Well, to Fred's point, to me, it's accountability.
Yeah.
If you're going to sit on a board, you need to be qualified for that position, and you need to be measured. What did you do? What did you accomplish as a board? Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, wherever you sat on the board. I mean, you can't just sit there to get a free meal once a month. It's about making things improved for your citizens. That is a job. You're there to serve. Not for your own benefit, but for the community's benefit.
And I hate to say it, but the only way that happens is that citizens pay attention.
Absolutely.
So, guys, what issues are y'all seeing? What issues have we not been talking about? Or what issues have we been talking about that you want to make sure are captured? Put those in the comments, but more importantly, there's a link in this video. If you'll go there, you can drop the issue on. We got months of talking, and I know some folks are going to get weary about it. Some folks are going to eat it up. So we're going to try and make it simple and easy to digest for the people that only have passing interest. We're going to dive deep into some of these issues and have a lot of discussions pretty much every week until the next election. Don't worry, David, you're not going to have to be in all of those conversations.
No comment.
But guys, I can't say it any other way than there have been a lot of folks that have been fighting this fight. Hat tip to Mr. Zachary in this community for a long time. But there's a lot of new folks and a lot of people that have invested a lot of time and a lot of resources, a lot of money over the last 12 months and are going to continue to do so. And if the citizens choose ultimately not to wake up and pay attention, if they choose not to show up and vote, if they choose not to get educated about who they're voting for, then I can at least rest easy going, I gave it my college, I gave it the college try. I gave it everything I could.
It'll all be for naught. We don't need to let that happen.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of people, I think November 17th is what we decided was the D-Day, I guess. It's the day that it went down that we got the air permit and sent it to David. David called me right then, and it's been on since then. David has been in here hanging in.
Long process.
Well, long process.
We're not. It's like we told them about a month or two ago. We're not going anywhere.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody knows, but in depositions they asked David how much or what was he willing to do to stop this, and he said whatever it takes, and that was huge.
Yeah,
that's huge for somebody to stand up in this community like
And
that.
then the question was asked, why? Well, I mean,
Why?
it's not
Right.
about Twins Fabricators.
No, it's not. It's
about this
the
community.
community.
So I'm seeing a question in here from somebody that says, so there's only one platform. I'm not sure what exactly you're asking about. Didn't see when that jumped in there. But I don't know if you're meaning like we're only given one platform to whoever's running. I think there's, whatever their platform is going to be, but I think, ultimately our hope is and our goal is that the citizens are talking about the things that we care about, and a smart politician would build their platform based on the things the citizens care about. Am I missing something there?
Well, I think in the past, the politicians have built their platform on the community they're going to talk to. If they have many different platforms, so you have to sift through the platforms, and they're all different, and they are all self-aggregating toward that person's personal desire for the crown.
Right.
People looking for crowns and things to put on their gravestone, other than making this community a good place for everybody. That's kind of what the platforms. I've been to a lot of and hosted a lot of debates or whatever you want to call them, information series with the Voters League, with the SCLC, with the NAACP, and others. But it all comes down, if you listen very carefully, it's where they are what makes the difference in what they say. And that's politicians in general, but it's more here. It's a tight ball here, and it ping-pongs itself, it ricochets itself around the community. I had several calls today asking, again, after my program, what is a rendering plan? So that education is not quite out there yet. People still don't understand what a rendering plan is. A good many do, but some don't. And of the people who have released their information about announcing, nobody mentions the rendering plan. They talk about riverboats and all kinds of things and putting aquariums here.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. We need that. That sounds good. It really does sound good. And having these megaplexes for athletes, and we got a megaplex everywhere around here. Everywhere kind of, there's a megaplex. How many people do we have that's gonna come in? And then we don't have the hotel or motel or we don't have accommodations. Even if we got the folks come, so there's a lot of stuff that has to be talked through and walked through and put into a plan.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of those discussions, I don't think any of that is actually going to fix or correct or change the trajectory of our county. Is it a good thing? Sure, but ultimately, and the last time when we did a live, you brought up the discussion of the concept of in Etowah County, most of the wealthiest are doctors and lawyers, and we don't really have the industries that have the CEOs that really have the big wealth and, building whatever fields and river boats and all that kind of stuff. That's all great stuff that should stem out of heading down a direction where you've got good jobs for people to work at that are competitive in the market. Back to why do people that have the skills pack up and leave? I see some comments about, the number of folks that work down in Honda, or the portion of the Honda folks that are from Etowah County. Maybe we could do some stuff to keep them in here.
It's a quality of life.
Right.
I mean, good paying jobs and quality of life.
And I don't remember, I recently was having a conversation with somebody, talking about the importance to large businesses. Maybe it was you, about, when you're looking at moving into a community as growing your, $1 billion business, you care about your employees and the schools that they have to go to and the community that they're going to be living in and that you're asking them to live in. Maybe I should have been thinking about that kind of stuff, but
we need you here.
Yeah, I hope that resonates. It's all got to work together. But building a mega complex or a riverboat, building a couple of restaurants on that's not going to fix that's not going to fix the community.
Let me say, I go out of town a lot to eat because I have a delicate stomach, and some places, fast food places, just don't do it for me. And I came from an area where good food places. Every time I go to Birmingham or to Atlanta, I run into somebody from Gadsden, and usually it's more than one. So, and the last time I was out, I ran into the county CEO in Oxford eating at Garfield. So we have to engage this community's development in such a way that, and I'm not knocking in a franchise, but the franchise is not the hierarchy of eating. It's just it's convenient, and when you have people who think that way on that issue, they think that way on most issues. I mean, what's good for me, I'll go and eat. If I'm the CEO of the county, I'll go somewhere at a very nice restaurant and eat good food, and I'll come on back. And what I'm trying to develop is something else totally different for the blue collar people. They call Gadsden blue collar. I don't know what that means anymore because we don't have an industry. The blue collar people right here among us.
Yes, yeah.
We got to look at that, and this is not going to turn around overnight.
Oh no.
We got to get a bench. We got to get our kids developed in such a way that they read the Wall Street Journal, whether it's online or on paper. That they look toward becoming entrepreneurs and having employees instead of being just somebody that's going to look for a job. And we don't have that in our community.
Well,
not right now, but I know.
Right.
And this organization has brought a lot of things to the forefront that presents themselves as challenges in our community. And a lot of them have to be changed, and they can only be changed through a plan and good leadership.
So what needs to be on that plan? I think that's the discussion that the community needs to have. What are the issues? What's the low-hanging fruit that we could fix, that could be fixed overnight? Because there are, let's be honest, there are a number of issues that 18 months from now, we could be done with those and moving on. Certainly, most of us thought the rendering plant would not continue to still be an issue. But again, as we've said it multiple times, it's a symptom of all these problems that we're talking about. So what we're talking about as Advance Etowah and in the discussions moving forward, so we're looking at it as a commitment to 5 years. Our goal, I think all of us as a group, is that eventually this thing of Advance that we work to something where we can go away. We've got to call everybody to the table. We've got to inform. We've got to basically be kind of a watchdog like everybody's been doing. Hopefully there's, other groups of folks that are going to jump in, because the issues, I've said all along, the rendering plant is the simplest issue that I think we'll ever deal with in this community. It's so black and white. Just in terms of the right and wrong.
If we had a leader early on,
yep,
we would.
And I think as David said on August 20th, why would you even answer the phone? But that's kind of what we're thinking about from the EE standpoint. I know there's going to be, as Fred has mentioned about the ugliness of politics, there's going to be mud thrown at us. None of us are running for election. In fact, something that so Carolyn Parker has been a board member of Advance Etowah, and she's still not 100% sure what she's going to do. And in the consistency of what she is telling everybody is she's still trying to figure out what she feels is right. She's going to move into more of an advisory role, and as we move forward until she knows, because we're now getting into the political scene. We're trying to do as best we can. Is it going to be perfect? No. People are still going to sling mud and call us names. We're not trying to take it's not a power play. Hopefully
the mob.
Yeah. Hopefully that is something that we're doing the best we can. But at the end of the day, we're citizens in this community, and we're trying to affect change.
We care.
And we care.
And we want to fight for what's right for our city.
And for the folks who ask me what Carolyn is going to do, I do not know.
Yeah, I think a big part of our A&E is to get all the mayors that are running, and then get them out here on the show and let them talk, let them tell their side.
So that's the plan. I'm going to do a weekly discussion, and we got to start lining folks up for all of that. I hope guys genuinely head over to 1240 a.m. And listen to Fred's got a lot of discussions. He's been doing this a whole lot longer than I have. So I think we've got a lot of great discussions to have.
If this rendering plant has done one thing, it's brought a lot of good people together.
Absolutely.
And we have all stood together toe to toe and fought some of the biggest fights.
Well, and that's the biggest thing, Trent. We just all have to stay the course.
Right.
And understand, we're going to come out at the end of this thing victoriously, but we have to stay the course.
And be patient.
Stay engaged, as Michael said.
Stay. We're patient. So we're good. We're good for a good fight here.
And when we're out of this, we don't forget from whence we came.
Absolutely. Because we can go back there very easily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I firmly, with all my heart, I believe that next August is a generational pivot point for this community, and if we don't get it right, it could set Etowah County back. It will tell the tale. It will make it what the citizens actually want it to be, and that's either going to be headed down a direction that at least is better than where we're headed, or it's going to be way worse. That's just my opinion.
I did the ribbon cutting, I think it was August the 8th, for a new program. And it's in Carver Homes. No, it's not in Carver Homes. It's in the other place, 6th Street. And it's called Ignite. And it's a program to train kids to read by 3.
Awesome.
And it's an awesome program. It's a collaboration between a whole bunch of people. You get your kids to reading early, and you get them educated early, then you have a bench, and you have people who are interested in what's going on around them. Take a look around when you're walking around this area and other areas in the county. Count the number of people you see with a book. Just count them. People don't read in this area.
Do you count phones?
No, I don't count phones.
All right.
A book.
I read a lot on my phone.
Well, I want you to promise me that you'll start picking up a book, because it's totally different. It's totally different.
I do.
You get people engaged in the wonderland of reading, then you have people who begin to think differently. See, electronic is also fast. Everything is so fast. It's just so quick. People have to stop and think for a moment. And
go through the process.
Yeah, and begin to imagine themselves creating something different than what they're living in. These kids are in housing development, and I think that they are going to end up being some of the best citizens of Gadsden, learning to read by 3. Now we offered my organization offered 10 scholarships for next year after next, or whenever we get some people, some kids who are coming out of the program and going to high school. It's incumbent upon us to capture a bench. These old farts, are not going to change in the last quarter of their lives. Many of them. Mm-hmm. All they want to do is a house at Orange Beach or wherever it is, somewhere down the street. They all go, and capitalize on a retirement. I wonder how many of you guys listening know that Gadsden has a program that's called. It's a program where you stay on the job as long as you can to vest your pension at a higher level. It was created a long time ago. About how you keep people on the job. You keep them on the job because they do good work, not because they've been there for so long. And it's over $1 million of our tax dollars that go into that program. These are kind of things I think citizens need to be aware of.
Yep, absolutely. So that's going to be the goal, is to make them aware and educate, answer questions. Honestly, where do we go from here? It's really nothing different than what we've been doing with the rendering plant. We're just going to expand the issues, because the rendering plant thing isn't over tomorrow. There's a number of things, and the frustrating part of all of that with the rendering plant is it literally could be over tomorrow if a small handful of people wanted it to be. With that, as we expand and move forward, that is going to take resources. I would like to see us have the financial burden taken off of a small handful of shoulders. There's a ton of people that don't have the finances, that have dumped in a ton of time. That kind of stuff is going to have to continue. And obviously we're going to have to pace through the next 12 months and not burn ourselves out. But that's what we've kind of been talking about, guys. We're kind of laying it out, trying to put together the resources to inform you. Let us know what the issues are that you see, what questions you have. We're going to try and get answers. We'll have those discussions about, hey, these are things you should be aware of in our city. We've been pulling strings on questions about like the structure of the airport, because that's all been tied to the rendering plant. And every time we pull one string, there's another little, another and another and another. And I have a feeling that's going to happen throughout, our government. So I've also got a page that I'm going to build out that is resources in the community. So things like the reading programs and stuff like that, links. That's kind of my passion in making it easy for people to find information on the internet.
And maybe you put jobs on there that David, I have, or local businesses.
And we can definitely, I think we've got it linked up to Indeed right now, just because that's the most jobs. But yeah, I mean, that's the kind of stuff as we, and I know there's organizations that help people find jobs. Sometimes it's just hard to find all of those, links. I've got a document downloader. We've got a few stuff on there now, but as we get minutes and we get other documents, maybe this 40-year-old plan, if we can get it scanned in, if it doesn't fall apart in the process of scanning, we can get that kind of stuff uploaded and be a resource.
Maybe we give that plan back to the city council and let them reread it. Would probably be a good.
Do you want to make a couple of notes?
Fred, could you do that for us?
Well, they have some in the vault.
Apparently, they're not reading it. It's like you're talking about.
Obviously, our fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers and mothers were a lot smarter than we are.
I need Fred to drop that off at council meeting next Tuesday. Hand it out to him.
I might get arrested.
I think we can bail you out. I don't think you're gonna have but one or two phone calls. We'll get you out.
Very good.
So, guys, again, what are the issues? That's what we need to be talking about. And what are the things that we as citizens care about? And to be frank, the things that we as citizens care about, the issues that we have, should be the issues that our elected officials and appointed officials are talking about. And those are the things they should care about. If they don't care about those things, then we don't care about them. Quite honestly, we definitely don't want to elect them. But ultimately, it's the citizen's choice, and that's the beauty of a democracy. So, people can whine and complain that we're gonna have conversations on the internet or we're gonna have conversations on the radio. Honestly, I don't care, because right now at 7:00 on a Tuesday night, because most people work and they don't have the government jobs that allow them to be at a city council meeting at 11:00 on Tuesday morning, this is when they can talk. So the internet is the place that they can meet and congregate and have conversations. So it is what it is. I earn my living off of that principle. So we're going to continue to do that, and I'm looking forward to it. And it's been fun. And yeah, 1 year.
Always.
1 year.
Always, yeah. No matter what car you drive, just make sure you can get it in the garage.
Or you drive the old beater. So, all right, guys, y'all, thank you so much. Thank you for all that y'all have done. And we're looking forward to, keeping going.
Yeah, keep it up.
So we'll talk to y'all later.